Did anyone get like sexy daddy vibes by Omni-Man, or was it just me? Welcome to my channel. Hi, my name is Exis, and this is my channel Exis Does, where I do things. I don't know what I be doing, but right now I'm really into commentary and talking about things that are important to me. The thing I will talk about today actually is Invincible, and I've been meaning to get this off my chest for a while. Because there has been a lot of controversy about the character April in the Invincible series and whether or not she deserves the hate that she got, and comparing her to the April in the comic book series. So for those of you who don't know, in the comics, April is a blonde-headed white girl. In the show, April is a black woman, or young, excuse me, black girl. She's a young black girl. She is written significantly different, giving me very much so, young feminist vibes. Her favorite author is probably Octavia E. Butler, and I think she's a cool character. The hate that she got was tied to the fact that she is a young black girl in the series, and comparing her to the white girl in the comic. And so, if you have seen Invincible, Mark has a crush on April. He actively wants to date her. They eventually decide to go out on a date together, start dating, but then Mark has to balance out the perils and struggles of being a superhero and saving the city that he lives in. And April doesn't really initially know what's going on. So when Mark has to constantly blow her off to take care of situations and to take care of like real hot superhero shit, she gets upset most of the time because he's bailing out on his obligations as a partner to her. And so a lot of the controversy started happening in the later end of the episodes, where we realized that April did find out that Mark was a superhero. And this was around the time when Mark was going through it, y'all. Like, that was like the episode where like he was fighting that robot dude. His whole team was getting bodied, and when he missed the soup kitchen date that she had set for him, he tries to explain what was going on, how strenuous the mission was. He was going to tell her that he was a superhero. And then April hits the wackiest plot twist and says, "I know you were a superhero. I'm just mad that you weren't honest with me. We're done." And I'm just like, okay. And so a lot of the concerns that came from April as a character, you have on one half a bunch of people who were like, man, fuck April ain't shit, she's whack, she should stand by Mark, all the stuff that he has to go through in that city, fuck April. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you had a lot of people like, well, I mean, why are you getting so angry at April for being a 17-year-old girl and reacting the way 17-year-olds would react if, somebody had blown them off multiple times? Why are you putting so much pressure on April as a character? Like, what is this? Is this because you genuinely don't like her? Or is there some sort of other ulterior motive of the skin tone kind? And so that was like the conversation that was surrounding April as a character. And so I sat and I thought, and I thought and I sat, and I thought and I sat, and I thought and I sat and thought some more. And I honestly believe that April isn't a bad character in the Invincible series. I think she is poorly written for the Invincible series, and I think they really dropped the ball in the last couple of episodes with the decisions that she made towards Mark and their relationship. And I don't think anyone that I have been conversing with has been having those conversations. It's always just been like, April sucks, man, she ain't a real one, she ain't loyal, which first of all, she really don't gotta be, okay? She's 17, okay? just shut it down. And then I got other people who are like, well, this is just an oppression of like black women standing their ground and X, Y, and Z and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, let's freeze, pause, okay? Let's really explore this. It's bad writing. It is, okay? Think about it. The universe that was built for Invincible, or the world that was built, was very dark and gritty and almost hopeless. All right, gives very much Watchmen tease, The Boys tease. If you like those type of superhero shows, which I personally love, then you would definitely like Invincible, because that's just like the level of grittiness that goes into that show. So if we know that April or Mark or any of their friends live in an environment where the city is always getting attacked by aliens and mutants, and like the White House gets attacked like every 2 weeks or so, which they say in the show, like the White House gets attacked often, all right, then I would imagine that there would be some sort of like understanding to know that some of the things that are happening in this world are a lot bigger than Mark or April. And I think April as a character should understand that superheroes have a very tough and strenuous job that is bigger than probably her and her relationship with Mark. And the reason why I say this is because April, again, is written as a character who is very down to earth, outspoken, very well-grounded, and is almost like a philanthropist in her own right. She knows all of the homeless people in the soup kitchen by name. Like, she's a very considerate individual, and she understands the idea that things are 10 times bigger than herself. At least I like to think so. She is this strong-willed philanthropy feminist type character, so she understands social political issues, and she understands when things are larger than who she is as a person. So with that being said, when April is in the room, Mark just tries to tell her that she is invincible, and April's like, I know, but you just lied to me, and that's why we have to break up. It's like, all right, I got a couple of questions. First of all, if you knew that he was invincible, why didn't you just break up with him after you found out? Because he lied to you. Second of all, if you are a philanthropy type of character who stands for issues bigger than you are, wouldn't it make sense not to want to dump Mark because he wasn't honest with you? Wouldn't it make sense if you dumped Mark because what his job entails is 10 times bigger than y'all's Beasley relationship? And that's where I feel like the hate that we put on characters, even actors in series, is unwarranted, because you really need to be putting hate on the writers who wrote the characters wrong. April isn't a crappy character. She's a well-fleshed, well-developed character. Whoever wrote that episode of Invincible did a terrible job at writing April. Like, April should have dumped Mark because she knew that the job that Mark does is so much bigger than her relationship with him. She should have dumped him because she didn't want to get attached to someone who could possibly die and put his life on the line every time. And to take it a step further, she really should have dumped him so that she can make sure that she's okay and that she doesn't die and that anyone that she's associated with won't die either. That's how April should have been written. But unfortunately, she wasn't written that way. She was written as aloof and, like in this episode, more or less like an irrational teenager, which I think is very disrespectful to just boil April down to being an irrational teenager, or to chalk up her bad writing to her not getting enough sympathy as a black female character in a series about superheroes. I think we do a lot of disrespect by boiling her down to that. I think April is allowed to be multifaceted, and April should be allowed to be written much better than the way they portray her in the show. Again, if they are gonna go along with a character who is philanthropy based and outspoken and understands the bigger picture, it would have made sense for April to dump Mark because she understands the job that he does is much bigger than the both of them. And I think it's a big disservice to us, the viewers, for not writing her that way. And I hope that in the next season, they flesh out a character that's a lot more true to how she would act. But I don't know. That's my hot take on April. I love the Invincible series. I think Omni-Man is very attractive, and I can't wait to watch the next season. So give your takes about April in the comments below. Tell me what you think about her. Do you think that she was poorly written? Are you anti-April because of how she treated Mark? Are you pro-April? Do you believe that a lot of people hate April because she is a Black woman? Or do you think that a lot of people hate April because, you know, she was just written badly? Just let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.